The AgEdge conference in Lincoln is bringing a lot of different ideas, and a big focus has been on agriculture data and what to do with it, where it goes, and who owns it. But Matt Bechtol joins us now, the president, CEO, founder of GeoSilos. You probably heard of that organization. You were one of those early kind of pioneers in looking at what to do with the data and kind of give some direction. So I guess let's first talk about what GeoSilos is.
So GeoSilos is a spatial analysis firm. There's a rule of thumb that 80% of all data has a geospatial component, meaning you can map it. And in agriculture and natural resources, that's even higher. And it's not a tool that most people really know how to use well. And so what I try to focus on is kind of above the farm field level, more at the industrial level for food and agriculture, and helping them solve business challenges, economic challenges, policy challenges by using analysis of geography.
Well, as we look, a lot of organizations like Farm Bureau have come out and said, well, we need to get a good hold on who owns the data, what data are they looking for, and to make sure that whatever possible use it is, it's not adverse to agriculture or to whoever, in a sense, kind of owns that data, or who owns it.
Well, yeah, and so the data ownership question is a little bit slippery. For the most part, when producers are out there and they're planting, harvesting, applying, whatever it is, that's typically their data. But sometimes they hire people to do things for them. And that data, if you will, may be intellectual property of somebody else. So you have to ask those questions when you work with partners, when you work with service providers. A good example is Microsoft Office. If you have that in your home, you license that software from Microsoft. You don't own it per se. And it may be the same way with ag data. You might license some sort of fee or some sort of service from somebody, but you don't actually own it. So it's not exactly black and white.
All right, so as we look at some of the things you talked about with the folks here at the AgEdge conference, technologies continue to change rapidly, but a lot of agriculture is taken to use these and adapted to them.
Yeah, and it's more than just precision agriculture. Precision agriculture is very important. It's going to continue to evolve. It's still somewhat hard to do, and we haven't solved all those problems. We're going to continue to do that. But it's about these other technologies like wearable technologies or telematics technologies that are coming out of the tractor saying, hey, you could be more efficient if you did this, ABC instead of, DEF. So the technology is changing, and people talk about UAVs. They're sexy and they're cool and they're neat when they fly. But at the end of the day, whatever technology it is, you have to think about, well, what's my strategy for acquiring this technology? How am I going to implement this technology? And what are my expectations of value out of that technology? And if you can answer all those, then you can monitor that and say, okay, this is the decision I need to make.
What do you think the end game is in all this?
Well, the end game is being a better producer. Whether that means being more profitable, whether that means being more efficient, whether that means being a better steward of the land, air, and water that we use or the animals that we care for. That's what it's about. This is about using technology to be a better manager. It's about turning data into decisions and into dollars. And if you keep that focus in mind, you'll have a very good perspective on why to use technology, and not just because it's a toy, it's a tool.
Are we at that point, though, that we can be and adapt to some of these technologies slowly rather than kind of an all-in, or as this technology moving so fast, we have to almost go from that big chief tablet and pencil to small microcomputers and wearable data, if you will?
Yeah, I think it's an additive process. So we've got a challenge in that, the 40 chances mentality, where we get one shot at this a year for most growers. Unless you live in California, you get a few crops a year. So I think that you can add it. It's almost the onion theory, that you add a layer, you evaluate it, you add another layer. Especially if you have access to young people in your operation, whether they're family, young employees, their capacity to deal with this technology is much better than some of us of maybe a little slightly older generation who have to work very hard at it. And so maybe they can take on 2 for every 1 that you take. But yeah, you can add that. And quite frankly, all this technology isn't proven yet. We've got a ways to go.
One of the things you brought up that was kind of interesting, a lot of folks say agriculture is the hot place to be. And what you kind of challenged the folks here was maybe look beyond even farm kids or looking beyond, those maybe that maybe glean a more technology eye that can be a part of today's farm.
Yeah, and farm and food and ag industry, period, not just the farm. We have a huge challenge before us to feed 9 billion people. We have a huge challenge before us to maintain safe, affordable food and choices for people of all walks of life with very different perspectives on what food means to them. We have an obligation to do that, and we're going to need help. The technology is moving more and more towards technology. It's moving towards more STEM-based careers, science, technology, engineering, and math. And so one of the things I challenged the audience to do today was to reach to that neighbor kid who may not be from a farm family and say, you know what, we need you. You know, we have a strong industry. We provide very good jobs with a great quality of life. We're growing those jobs. We were almost recession-proof, and there are exciting career opportunities where they can do interesting things and give back and make a difference in this world. And I think that's what kids want, but they don't know that those opportunities exist. They think it's about cows, plows, and sows, and we need to move beyond just that. Farming is great. I'm part of a family farm operation in Indiana, but we also have policy people, economic people, and technology people too.
Matt, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Matt Bechtol, who is president, CEO, and founder of GeoSilos, geosilos.com. That's the AgView from Lincoln. For AgView, I'm Ken Rogers.